Hello, dear people. This is Yana Kazbekova from Being Yoga Breath in Colors. This is the first video lesson in the series of video lessons dedicated to breathing techniques great to improve our immunity. First and foremost, every time you do a conscious breathing, when you put your mind and your focus into the breathing per se, that makes it a beneficial breathing because it calms down and centers your mind, and that in turn helps you not to lower down your immunity. However, there are some specific techniques that I would like to share with you, and this is the reason why this video series is started. This is a great video series for those of you who are beginners, who are new to yogic breathing, who have no idea or maybe just a little bare idea of that. First of all, but also obviously anyone can practice and welcome to practice, in fact. Over the course of this series, we're going to practice techniques that will seem, especially to new people, will seem like, okay, normal. Let's say socially acceptable. But there will be others that will look kind of silly or weird or strange. And yes, they do look like that. And yet I invite you to practice them with me. Take them home, practice, and just get benefit. Get your defenses stronger, get your inner muscles stronger, and stronger lungs, you name it. There are many, many more benefits to that, and we will go and see them as we go. The first exercise in this particular video that I would like us to practice is the one that, to me, in my professional and personal experience, is the foundational breathing technique or type of breathing that not only will be used to apply in some of the breathing techniques we're going to practice later in our next videos, but also it re-educates us. It changes the perception of our breathing. It changes the pattern, the physical pattern of the way we breathe. And that per se is a great and I would say necessary and probably necessary foundation that I really invite you to learn and get that foundation, because it will change the way you breathe every day, in a normal basis, and also will help your body to develop that kind of natural response over the practice, obviously, with the practice, natural response to stress. It will help you to center easier. It will help you to get less irritated, less susceptible to collective influence of any sort. So it's really, really great. So let's jump into it. The first exercise I have in mind for us is Kapalabhati breath. Honestly, don't even worry to remember the name of this breathing technique. And if you do, and you probably can Google and you will find several more different explanations of it, my mission, I feel like, is to share with you the way I learned it and the way I practice it. In reality, like I said, the name doesn't matter, but the way you re-educate your breathing, the way you change your patterns, the way you coordinate or you learn to coordinate this with the rest of the body that participates with the breathing is what matters. So let's jump into that. So first and foremost, firstly, in this sense, the breathing has 4 parts. We usually take our breath for granted. You know, it's spoken a lot lately nowadays about the difference between shallow breath and the deeper breath and how it is related to our emotional mental state. So I won't really deepen much into that, so we don't take much time of that, but you know that when you are stressed out, and being stressed out does not necessarily mean being worried about something or being angry that you are aware of that feeling. Being stressed out is just what it means to get out of your home and go and embark on a journey of your day. That already is being stressed out. Rushing somewhere, your cells are being stressed out. So we are going to move the focus of our breathing, or the main, let's say, active main active body part that participates in the breathing, from the habitual upper chest to all the way down to the diaphragm, the lower abdomen, and even the pelvic floor area. So this is one thing. It's really important for us to keep that in mind. So we're going to switch that habit. Another thing is the breathing, because it has 4 parts, right? The inhalation, the retention of full lungs, the exhalation, and the retention of empty lungs. In fact, I should have started with the exhalation first, retention, and then inhalation and retention. And there's a reason for that, because our idea, our purpose is to build enough strength and enough consciousness to be able to push. So we put an effort, especially in this Kapalabhati breathing type, we put a special effort into expelling toxins out of our body. And for that, we need strength. The strength not only where we usually think we do, but actually all the way down in your trunk and pelvic area. We need strength to retain either full lungs or empty lungs. And we also need strength to obviously, well, actually the inhalation part in this particular breathing technique, the body is smart enough to take care of the inhalation. So this is another thing to consider. Another thing to consider is that in Kapalabhati breath, the actual visual and physical effort is mainly focused on the exhalation part. And the inhalation, like I said before, happens naturally. And you will see why I kind of emphasizing that, because it's really, really important and not as easy to perform as we think. Let's think of our body. Let me step back a little so you can see my abdominal area. So let's keep in mind that this area, which is your abdomen, especially from the navel down, we will rename it for this particular breathing anyways. We will rename it from the abdomen to the balloon. And the logic is very simple. When you inflate the balloon, you fill it with the air and it expands. When you exhale or when you deflate the balloon, it shrinks. Right? So this is the logic. When you inhale, you inflate. When you exhale, you deflate. And this is probably one of the, well, this is the key. First of all, this is probably one of the hardest things to catch. And I invite you to dedicate maybe a few repetitions. Then you can, anytime you can pause the video and do it a little bit more on your own. Over the course of this video, actually every video, you can pause the video anytime, either to practice, extend your own personal practice of this particular thing we're doing in the moment, or to rest also, because you might feel a bit overwhelmed. And it's normal, it's natural. Your body responds to the more oxygen intake. So think of your balloon. I like to begin practicing this, having my hands on the stomach, because it kind of gives me that physical connection with it and helps me to kind of be keeping track of the movement, especially because this movement has to go in direct relation, coordination with the breathing. So, balloon will grow as you inhale. Now exhale. Good. So I'm doing this slowly, so you can, the new of you guys, you can just catch up slowly at your own pace and don't feel overwhelmed. But this type of breathing does cause some physical response, especially for the new people. And we will talk about later on. I first want you to feel it actually, right? So, as the initial practice of Kapalabhati breath, we are not changing we are not putting any particular emphasis on the strength of the exhalation. But I really want you to get that dynamic and get that pattern. When do you expand your stomach? and when do you contract it? So this is when you're practicing it with me, right? So join me for the practice. I'm doing it with you. I'm showing it to you, but I really want you to be part of this activity. Okay. Now, after these few repetitions, I would like us to make it look more like Kapalabhati breath. And Kapalabhati breath, again, I repeat, is the impactful, soundful, powerful exhalation and quite natural and kind of silent inhalation, okay? Because the body takes care of it. So you focus on letting the carbon dioxide out, and the body will do the rest. So firstly, let's just try a few times. Great. Remember, you can stop the video anytime to practice, right? Okay, so there are a few things that are very important to point here, is that firstly, the effort is of the exhalation is concentrated mainly on the lower part of your body. So I want you to maybe notice, I will lower here a little bit, that there is no, well, let me turn here, there is no much of the chest movement. So let me do this again. And you see me from the side, or maybe this side is better. Yeah, this side is better. So look at this. There should be no movement on the chest, neither on the face. So look at that. So it's a minimal movement on the chest, zero movement on the face, and the main effort is concentrating on the very bottom of your abdomen and especially the pelvic floor. As soon as you engage the pelvic floor into this breathing, you are covering the entire trunk area of your body, from the very bottom to the very top, and you are strengthening those muscles that we very seldom work on in our sedentary life. Office, computers, gadgets of all sorts, driving the cars. We do not work much. Even if we then go out and do some exercise, in a regular basis, we don't walk as much anymore. We don't squat as much anymore. And that is all about the strength. That's what builds the strength of your hips and pelvic floor. So in this breathing, I will use this one of my hands just to resemble the movement of the bottom of my pelvic floor, to resemble the movement of my Kegel muscle, because you cannot see that I'm moving it. And it's important for me that you know when to contract it, and just remember to contract it and relax it, okay? So I'll put one of my hands on the stomach. Again, that just for reference for you guys. And this will be the hand that will resemble the movement of my Kegel muscle in coordination with my exhalations. One thing I forgot to point is that unless it's indicated specifically, the breathing is happening through the nose, both inhalations and exhalations. And that also helps us to build the power to clear our sinuses, basically. Our upper respiratory via, to clear the path for the air, to swell, yeah, to take the inflammation down. It's really, really helpful to open up this whole part. As a seniors yoga teacher mainly, I see a lot of seniors who don't have the power to blow their nose. Just that. And there's a lot of complications and implications that come out of it. Sleepiness, anxiety, headaches, shoulder pain, neck pain, just to name a few, better vision or blurry and all that kind of stuff. So it really, really helps to build that openness, build that strength to be able to push. Imagine that you want to blow the candle through the nose, like the birthday cake candle. Okay, let's do that. So this is the Kegel, resembling the Kegel. This is the hand on your balloon, and let's do that. So remember, this is your contraction on the bottom of your pelvis. You actually create this movement with the muscles of your pelvic floor. And when you engage that during the practice, it's like training any muscle, basically. You will forget about hemorrhoids, constipation, any kind of reproductive organ situation, impotency, lack of erection, frigidity, just to name a few. In reality, there are many more benefits to that. So great. Very good. If you want to see if your exhalation is powerful enough, let's bring our hands here. They are not exactly by your throat. They're slightly more in front of your chin, actually. And do the same breathing, and you should be able to feel that air on the top of your hands. Let's do a few times. How about that? Did you feel that? So that should happen. You should feel the air caressing or hitting. Actually, the more powerful your exhalation is, the more it's going to hit the surface of your hand. In reality, the position of your hands is the less important thing here. What is important is that you concentrate your power from the very pelvic floor and you build it all the way up. So then you are powerful enough to push the air out without the need of engaging your face. So this doesn't happen. You are able to clear your respiratory via all the way from the lower part of them, diaphragm, the bottom of the lungs, which is usually unattended. Oh, how should I say that correctly? So it's if you imagine, your lungs, right, like two big sponges. In our everyday life, even when we do sort of focus on our breathing, we still are using just the upper part. But as soon as you pay attention to engage in your breathing, your pelvic floor, you start building that power and pretty much squeeze those sponges from the very bottom of them. So then you clean your lungs, you make them stronger, you build strength in your intercostal muscles. So then there is this power to expel, and there is, a powerful cage, for your vital organs. Another thing is, let's get back to this. Are you using your Kegel? Squeeze as you exhale. Great. Another thing that you get, probably you already feel it, is that this is a great abdominal exercise. And if you are new to this, and if you were practicing with me from the beginning of this video, maybe even stopping, pausing it to practice a little more, you probably feel warmth accumulating here in this area because you're working on your muscle, just like any other muscle in your body, right? So by doing this movement as you exhale, you are activating and stimulating every single organ right here behind your abdominal wall. From the pelvic floor, like I said, your reproductive organs, and all the way up, your intestines, you name it, all the organs. I'm not going to go to anatomy now. So as you compress and you do this movement, every organ there does the same. So you are massaging your inner organs without the need to get your hand in and massage it. So there's no way, right? Unless a specialist does it from outside. So this is a great massage to your inner organs. It's a great abdominal exercise also. And awareness exercise, coordination exercise. It really helps to coordinate our hemispheres of the brain. Now, let's take it further. And the further step is that to the these Kapalabhati breaths that we have just, that we're just practicing, we will end that final part, few variations of that in this video, that will explore that capacity for 4 breathing steps. So we're going to do Kapalabhati breaths. I'll guide you so you don't have to remember anything. Then we will do the easier part first. We will inhale, hold for a few seconds, and then powerfully exhale, hold. So that will be one of the ways to practice it. And let's do this before I explain what are the next steps. So, hands on your balloon, maybe. If you still are struggling with that coordination, is the best position for your hands. If not, they can be just anywhere. You can place your hands in a prayer pose if you want. I'll have my hands on the abdomen, since this video is more for the beginners, more for the new people following me. Let's do that. Let's do 4 Kapalabhati breaths. Then inhale profoundly, retain, and then exhale. Let's do that. Inhale. Hold and tighten. You are big. You're expanded now. Through your nose, exhale. Hold and relax. Very good. Let's do this 2 more repetitions, okay? 4 Kapalabhati breaths. Inhale. Hold and contract. Through your nose, exhale. Relax. You can stop or pause the video, like I said, because it may start make you feel a little bit, I like to call this beer effect. Beer effect means that you feel like you're a little bit lightheaded, they're just a little bit drunk, like with one good dark beer. So you save on alcohol right here, and you are getting that kick, healthy kick, with the help of the breathing. The breathing, in yoga we say that 1 minute of conscious breathing ensures the 1 hour of enough oxygen intake by your cells. When you do the conscious breathing, you are, guys, it's far beyond just the lungs benefit. It's the whole body. When you build the power of your breath, your vascular system, your blood vessels grow, they become longer. They get to the remote part of the body where usually they don't, like the tip of the toes, tip of the fingers, all over. So it's really, it feeds with the all the benefits that the blood carries, oxygen, nutrients, so on and so forth, in more areas of your body. Isn't that amazing? Let's I talked a little bit longer so then you can digest it a little better physically, and let's get back. Let's repeat this again. We will do the 4 Kapalabhati breaths. Let's do that. Inhale deep, hold and tighten, full lungs. Exhale. Nice. Now we will add a little bit more to this. So now, as you see, we begin playing with the variations here. To this exact pattern, we will add pumping as you hold your full lungs. So, 4 Kapalabhati breaths, inhalation, retention, pumping without breathing with full lungs, and then exhaling. Let's do that. 4 breaths. Inhale. Hold your breath and pump. Exhale. Now, important note, guys, especially for newcomers, for the beginners. The length of your retention, firstly, the amount of your breaths for your personal practice. Here I kind of chose 4, but it's very, very individual for you. So the amount of the breath that you take may completely vary. The length of your retention may vary. And the amount of your pumps as you hold your breath in may vary as well. So I do 4, but you feel free to stay with your amount. And remember that this is a practice and the mastery develops over the practice. So take your time. Let's do about 2 more repetitions of this modality. For Kapalabhati breaths, hands on your balloon. Breathe in, hold your breath, pump. Exhale. Pause or continue for the last repetition with me. 4 Kapalabhati breaths. Inhale, hold, pump. Exhale. Good. So now while you're resting, it's probably a good time to talk a little bit about those body responses that I mentioned just very briefly a few minutes ago. When you do this type of breathing, and for the beginners it's quite powerful already, you awaken your organs, you awaken your body, your cells, you change the blood chemistry of your body. So it's very normal that as a natural response to that, you want to burp or pass gases or sneeze or cough or yawn, which is very, very normal. And this is, I like to call it your body language. And so please let your body talk. And this is the healthiest way for you to learn to communicate with your body in a way that you can understand what your body wants to tell you. What certain, let's say, symptoms in your body want to tell you. What do you need to adjust so then you make it easier for your body to readjust to whatever the body is struggling to readjust. So lightheadedness is another quite a common response in the body. So those are kind of familiar to us, right? Some of them are okay or taken for granted, or we just don't connect the dots. Why we're burping while we are breathing? Well, it's actually directly connected. But there are others that are you are unfamiliar, or you know ahead of time that that might be dangerous, which is not. And before I actually proceed, I want to tell you that whatever, absolutely whatever you feel going on at the physical level or emotional level during your practice and maybe right after is safe. It's your inner energies at work. It's really important to trust your body, and this basic breathing teaches you that, teaches you to understand how your body responds, to what it responds, how it responds, and knowing how to interpret that. In this case, every single physical response, maybe what I mentioned, or maybe some kind of sensation of pinching somewhere, or maybe you feel like one side is kind of aching even when you breathe. So there may be different, like really, really different, so individual, really the response of the body. Just know that you are safe. My point is that you can pause your practice anytime. You can take a break from the practice and then come back. As long as you know that you're safe, you're not going to be scared. And if you're not scared, you get even more benefit. If you get scared, like, you know how fear betrays us and then makes the things look bigger than they are. So we want to take that stress effect away from this practice. We don't want it to cause you stress. We actually want you to help deal with stress better. We want you to get benefit from it. So don't you worry if you happen to feel any kind of body response. In case you feel a little lightheaded in this practice, know that you can practice this pretty much in any body pose. I am now standing. It's just easier for me to move and to explain to you. You can be seated on the chair with your feet down, uncrossing the legs. It's important in this case. You can be seated on the floor, on a cushion, on the yoga mat, crossing your legs or extending your legs, actually, if you can remain with your straight back. In fact, you can do this even on your all fours, which I actually love this modality. And you can even do it horizontally, lying down on your bed, face up. It's really, really great, versatile type of breathing that you can apply to many, many different poses. I use it, I incorporate it in many different poses, asanas in yoga while we hold the pose. It's really, really helps to pump more of the blood and oxygenize more your tissues as you are soft tissues as you are in a holding a pose, for example. Okay, rested? Let's get back. So we are moving on to a little more advanced modality of Kapalabhati breath, and this will be same logic. We will do 4 Kapalabhati breaths for this video purpose. It's just 4. Then we will exhale, hold your empty lungs, don't pump yet, and then inhale. So we switch, you see? First we inhale, and that kind of was logical, right? And then you have what to retain. Now we are moving on. By now we should be okay to experience the holding empty lungs and having that power of the muscles to push that little part of air that you still are having, even if you think that what can I exhale if I didn't inhale? Let's do that. 4 Kapalabhati breaths. Just follow my voice and you'll be good. Exhale strong. The rest of air through your mouth. Hold. As long as you can. This particular one is really inviting to smile at the end. You know, I think that this modality really helps us to value our breathing. We so much take it for granted, the in and out of the air, that we never really pay attention to, am I enjoying my breath right now in any moment of your day? Let's get back to the practice. Let's do 3 more repetitions. This one is a little harder, so we will need a little more times. Come to your balloon. Do 4 Kapalabhatis. Exhale. Through your mouth. The rest of the air. Hold. Feel free to sigh at the end. Smile if you feel like it. Really good. Really, really good. This moment when you retain your empty lungs, that is the moment of true silence. Maybe you didn't feel it yet, but as you keep practicing this breathing, you will get to that point when there is nothing. Like the world doesn't exist anymore. There's you, your body, and your practice. And that is such a blessing and such a gift for your mind, for your brain, when you can stop for a second, truly, or for a few seconds in this case, and just don't continue blending information in your brain. This is really amazing. Now, probably by now you already experienced that, oh, I have maybe difficulty to do that first exhalation because I don't have that strength yet. Let's remember that we're engaging from the very bottom, guys. We are using our pelvic muscles all the way. I didn't do this movement to remind you, but we keep using our pelvic floor here. So if you really engage there, the strength comes. Because it's not through your throat, it's not through your face, it's all the way down. And here is a powerful part. This is our powerhouse. So let's engage it. The more you engage your pelvic floor in this practice and abdomen, the more power, the more muscularly and energetically strength you will build to be able to really expel. Remember that breathing techniques, well, in generally the breathing itself, but breathing exercises, the practices themselves, they help they help the body in its detoxification process. Human body builds toxins every single second, whether we want it or not, whether we think of it or not, or know about it or not. And the body has few mechanisms to get those toxins out through the bowel, through the urine, through the sweating, and through the exhalation. And for some reason, we disregard this last one. Well, the last one I mentioned, the breathing part, should be number one. It really should be number one when the body is strong enough to push the toxins out and clean itself, help to renew. So to empty the space, not only in your lungs, in every single cell, push the toxins out, empty the space for the new, clean air to come in. It renews your blood cells. God, it's just mentioning that is already great. Let's get back, guys. 2 more repetitions. Hands on your balloon. 4 Kapalabhati breaths. Exhale. Hold. You hold for as long as you can. Isn't that inhalation desired? Isn't that inhalation really enjoyed? I invite you to take to that phase of your breathing where your inhalation is really, truly appreciated, is really, truly, fully executed at its maximum. 1 more repetition. Exhale. Hold. This is a great massage to your cardiovascular system as well. Remember that if you are fearful, if you are new, if you have some situation with your lungs health or heart health, you start very slowly. You start with very baby steps, not because of fear, but because you're honoring your body. You are testing how much you can move on. You are doing from little, firstly to observe, and secondly to build. Because this practice is many, with any practice, in fact, of breathing, of yoga, or just any practice, you build the mastery by doing and taka, until you feel confident and strong enough to do it at its maximum capacity. Now, the last modality to this will be adding pumping to the exhalation, to the empty lungs retention. And that will be interesting to observe. So let's do that. Remember, I will remind you, you can sit. You can sit on the chair, you can sit on the floor. Just make sure that your back is straight. So you are not collapsing, you are not folding, you're actually having the open space, the open path for the air. So let's do that. 4 Kapalabhati breaths. Just follow my voice. Exhale. Hold your breath. Pump. Very good. So when you do this, relax yourself completely. Really give yourself that break, because it is a challenging practice. Imagine how much we work on, how much we engage, and how many implications at the physical, emotional, and mental level we get doing just this basic breathing. Now, it sounds like a lot, and I'm dedicating quite a long time. That's why I didn't call it just a video. I call it a lesson, because I'm giving you quite a bunch of instructions and details, because I really, really want to share as much as I know. Maybe I forgot something, but I will add it in my further videos and further lessons. Imagine if just this breathing technique does so much for you, strengthens your pelvic floor, helps to the digestion and elimination. It's great abdominal exercise. It's great coordination exercise. It cleans your lungs. It stimulates your thyroid gland. It actually stimulates your brain as well, because if you feel a little lightheaded, it's just one of the simple proof of that. It does so much for you. It strengthens your body. It strengthens your spirit. It strengthens your life fire, I would say. Let's do one more repetition, okay? With 2 more repetitions with the pumping, okay? So hands on your balloon, 4 Kapalabhati breaths. Exhale. Hold, pump. Like in the middle of the pumping and holding, I wanted to remind you that along with this, you also pump your pelvis. You also pump your Kegel. Maybe if you're young, you don't really physically still realize what the heck with the Kegel muscle. Just keep this in mind. It never hurts to use your Kegel muscle. But the benefit of using it and engaging it and being capable of doing both, not just contracting, but also relaxing it, it will bring you so many benefits down the road when you hit your maybe 50s, 60s, and so on, when the leakage is the order of the day, when the prolapse is quite often happening, and even hip breakage, when people happen to fall. When you do your pelvic exercise, when you engage your Kegel, it's little by little you're building the strength that will bring that muscular support, that muscular cushion to your bones and cartilage and your joints. In case of you happen to fall, they will be cushioned. Your bones will be cushioned. It will be not easy that you break your bones or your joints there, right? It's really, really maybe even life-saving benefit, you know? And the fact that a lot of elderly have to use a diaper. People, and I teach elderly, I deal with them on every daily basis, and they share their experience. Those of them who have been using the Kegel muscle because they're, I don't know, urologist or gynecologist shared with them, suggested them to do, they hit the age of 80s and they don't need a diaper. And there are others who do. because there was no that preparation of that, continuous work on the pelvic floor. So a lot big break I offer to you. Let's do one more repetition of this full modality. Hands on your balloon for breath. Exhale. Hold and pump. And let go. Amazing. Well, guys, this was it for today. In this lesson, I covered main important modalities of Kapalabhati breaths and the benefits. If I happen to remember something else, I will add it in written in the description on the video below. But I think I covered pretty much all. I really wish you a successful practice. I invite you to follow my channel, to like this video, and to subscribe to my channel, and especially participate. Participate by commenting in regard of this practice, ask questions in regard of this practice, and all that I know, I will share with you. I mean, the answers that I can give you, I will gladly and generously give you. So thank you again. I love you all. Happy and fruitful practice. This was Kapalabhati breath made by Yana Kazbekova with Being Yoga Breath and Colors. Thank you so much.